Hello and welcome Replay viewers. Stay tuned because we are going to be talking about Ignition.rocks, which my guest here, TeeJay Dowe, has founded. So welcome. Please share this out because we want as many people as possible from benefiting, to benefit from what you're going to hear about today. So we're going to be talking about TeeJay and her journey to where she is now. We're going to be talking about the Ignition profiling system. And also, how can you benefit as a business owner, or perhaps you might be a coach or trainer as well. So look, I think you are the best person to introduce yourself, seeing as you are here. So tell us about yourself, TeeJay.
Well, tell me about yourself. Gosh, that's a good question. Like, how long have we got? So let me start here. I grew up with the belief that I was not good enough.
Like many of us.
From the age of 4 years old,
Yeah.
like 4-year-old little girl, decided this, impacted on pretty much the rest of my life up until not too long ago. That one belief of not being good enough meant that I had no confidence, had very little self-worth, painfully, I know you find this hard to believe, but painfully shy.
That is hard to believe. But it's not though, because I know, I've always been extroverted and I wasn't shy, but I never felt good enough or confident on the inside either. So, and that's the thing. I think it's easy to look at people who've been on a journey and kind of go, oh, it's all right for them. Yeah. But actually, it's because we've been on a journey that we've got to where we are today.
Absolutely. Yeah. And people do, they kind of look at you, that's all right for you. You're just naturally confident and happy and bubbly. And I go, yeah, that's what you see now. Yeah. And your journey is your journey for a reason. I totally get that. And that whole journey metaphor we'll talk about later. But because of that belief at the age of 4, I just settled for second best in everything that I did because I just didn't feel worthy, good enough. And my life seriously was a series of quite spectacular disasters. The fact that I'm even still here today is a miracle in itself. Some really bad stuff.
I mean that's actually quite a deep thing to say. So is that because you weren't sure you wanted to still be around, or was it because you were in danger? Or
both.
Right.
Both. I've been in places in my life because I felt not good enough where I've been in bad places, relationships have been disasters. There have been moments in my life where I thought, this is the moment that I die.
Wow.
At the hands of abusive relationships.
Yeah.
And I've also been in places where I've gone, why am I even here? Do I want to be on this planet? So suicidal thoughts, I think are probably more common than we actually realise in people. And now I'm blessed that I do work with lots of people, young and old, who have had or are having suicidal thoughts. And I can genuinely say I've been there, and it's worth sticking around.
Well, I'm very glad that you did. Yeah. And not just because I know you and you're in my life, but also because of the impact you are getting to have on the wider world. And I think this is something that I want everybody who's watching this to take into account, is that you are here for a reason. You have got something that is of value to other people. Now, whether you're doing it through your business or whether it's through your family, your friends, volunteering, whatever it is, the medium doesn't matter. But the fact is that you impact other people. And so, stick around. Seriously, and I really mean that. I know sometimes I think it's easy, we can kind of laugh things off a bit, but actually this is actually quite serious.
Yeah, and I truly believe that we all have a purpose for being here. Yeah. We all have, what we would call in the coaching world a compelling future. But sometimes when you're in that dark place, you can't see that future, even though it actually is there.
And pop a 1 in the comments if you have ever been, I'm not saying you were necessarily suicidal, but if you've ever been in such a dark place that you've thought, oh, why do I bother? I think more people do that than they might share. And I know for a lot of creative people, whether it's other actors or filmmakers, for those of you who don't know me, by the way, I haven't introduced myself. So I'm Una Doyle. My business is Creative Flow TV, as you can see. There we go. As you can see there. I'm a business coach and strategist for creative service providers, and I'm also an actor. And so because I know so many creative people, they quite often are very sensitive and empathic. Yes. And I think that means they are more prone to getting depressed, particularly if they're not able to do the kind of work that actually, feeds their soul and fills their heart with pride. And that's why I do the work I do, to help them to be able to have a sustainable business where they get to be happy, healthy and wealthy, in doing that, to stand out confidently and profitably. So I think if this actually, I didn't see this happening when we started this interview, but actually I think it's quite important to talk about, So you've been through this journey. And that, I guess, led you, like my own journey did, to personal development and growth.
It did.
And so what did that look like in the beginning?
I had a moment on a conference room floor. It wasn't a moment on a mountain.
Were you flat on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew I'd find out some good stuff.
See, careful what you ask. I'd never done any personal development.
Yeah.
I'd always loved to learn. Always been a bit of a geek like that. Loved being a geek. The business that I worked for, my background is pharmacy. Stumbled into pharmacy by accident, if there's such a thing. The business that I was with, we're doing a lot of change management, personal development. We get sent on this 3-day 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Covey.
That book was my first ever personal development.
Changed my life.
Changed my life. Yes. I never knew that. That's amazing.
So, end of day one, trainer, as I was lying on the floor doing what I now know is like a closed eye thing. I didn't know that then. Close your eyes. Float up above you. Imagine you're in a meadow. The whole blue sky birds tweeting, stream babbling in the background thing. Float out into the future. Create your future. Who's there? How does it feel? What you'll be doing? And I found myself in this amazing garden. It was definitely an English country garden with a beautiful view. Yeah. My family were there. My friends were there. I noticed for the first time ever in my whole life, I felt alive.
Wow.
And that was like a big moment for me because I put a lid on my emotions many, many years ago.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting tingles down my neck.
I was just emotionally flatlined completely at that point.
Give me some hearts if this is, you can feel this, because I can feel this. Yeah.
So off I go. I feel, oh my gosh, I can feel. That was like my moment. Like, oh my gosh, I can feel.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that somebody's not in my future. And I get guilty and I try to put this person in my future, and I tried and my husband was not in my future, and that was just wake up call for me. I came out of that, I guess, meditation just like completely, oh my gosh, I've been in denial for so many years of my life. I have to make a decision. So I didn't do the usual spontaneous me thing because I'm a bit prone to that.
Yeah.
I gave myself 6 months. I'm going to learn as much as I can about me because I've never done that. It takes 2 to fall out of love. So I'm going to find everything I can to put this relationship right, or I have to walk away.
Right.
And that was the start of my journey.
Wow.
And for 6 months, I just completely immersed it. Like, if you see my bookcase now, it goes Covey. And then I discovered people like Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and my heroes and Anthony Robbins and like all sorts. So that was my
fantastic.
And I don't do things by halves.
No.
When
doesn't.
I dive, deep dive. Yeah. When I dream big will come home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I discovered that, am I good enough? Damn right, I'm good enough.
Well, I think so.
Damn right, I'm good enough.
So. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, all these years I believed a lie.
Yeah.
And I was angry about it. Why did nobody tell me that I was good enough? But I probably wouldn't have listened because your journey is your journey for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, I'm halfway through my life, because I did tell you I'm living till 110. And I'm not even halfway at that point. And I'm like, am I really going to live the rest of my life feeling worthless and useless and not good enough? Absolutely not. I wonder how life could be different.
Yes.
And I discovered who I am. What I love is, the biggest gift I ever gave myself was discovering who I really was.
Yeah.
When you know who you are, like really to your core, and the value that you bring to the world,
yes.
Oh my gosh, you become unshakable. truly unshakable, because life can happen to you, for you, around you, with you, whatever you want to call it, and you know who you are to your core.
That's so true. That it is, because even when life knocks you, when you have that solid core, you might kind of move a bit, but you're there.
You can flex, like kind of need to, don't you? And you don't break, which is just amazing. So that was the beginning of my. I know that I'm here for a reason. I didn't know what that purpose was yet. Had to discover that. But it really gave me an insight into how incredibly important identity is. So
it is, because it affects everything. If you set a goal and your identity is not of the kind of person who would achieve that goal, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to achieve that goal.
Right?
Yes. So, things will happen. You could be ill, you could have a load of stuff come on, you take on other commitments, you could just forget about the goal, because you're letting everything else get in the way. You put other people first. And I see this kind of thing a lot, okay? So when I'm working, the kinds of clients I'm working with are like photographers, animators, graphic and web designers, copywriters, any kind of creative services usually, occasionally with creative products, but more usually with services. And so quite often, one of the first things I need to do with them is help them to raise their prices. Usually they are undervaluing what they do and the impact that it has for their clients. And therefore they haven't packaged or positioned what they do in such a way that they will be able to attract and convert higher paying clients, where it would be a more accurate reflection of the impact that they're having. And so that whole thing about their identity comes into play. And because I'm working with them on the structure of how they're attracting and converting these clients as well, and instead of completely giving away the farm, there's one client, and she said to me, previously she was having loads of meetings, so very well known in their industry, and so would have inquiries, and like a lot of people might be going, wow, God, they get all that business coming in, but they weren't converting it very well. And one of the key reasons is because they, first of all, didn't have things structured in the right way, and secondly, because they were undercharging, and therefore people just didn't think they could be good enough. But when they made those changes, then they were able to charge for what they used to give away for free. And they charged £500, and the first time they said this to somebody, and the person just went, yeah, great, when can we do it? And so they said to me, I nearly fell off the chair. Because, and it's great seeing how their identity is shifting. And this is what is, it's so important. And I think it's a really important part, not just of the profiling tool, because of course, when you get more aware of your natural strengths and personality, then that helps you see things in a different way. But also with what you have around the platform as well. So, tell us a bit about, how did you get then from, where you were kind of starting out and you'd immersed yourself in this personal development. You're still, kind of working in the pharmacy industry at the same time.
I was full time.
What does that look like?
I was it's had some good titles in my time. Good job it's not my identity, right? You lose your title and you're like a bit lost, aren't you? I was regional professional development manager. How important does that sound? Travelling the length and breadth of a very big region in the UK, creating professional services for pharmacy, and the more and more that I did that, it brought out my creative side, and that I didn't recognise at that time. That's why, that is so me, in my element. That's my gift to the world.
Absolutely.
And the more that I got to coach the people that I worked with, and train people, it was kind of like, this is what I want to do more of.
Yes.
So I was very lucky. I don't know whether that's Coincidentally, if you believe in coincidences, right? The company that I was working for merged with another big company that I did never want to work for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I spied a gap in the market to combine my fledgling coaching business in those days with a training business in the world of pharmacy, merged the two and left, and that was 11 years ago.
Fantastic. And just for those who've joined us more recently, I've just seen in the comments, please excuse me, I'm looking down, just checking the comments during the broadcast. This is TeeJay Dowe, and she's the founder of Ignition.rocks. So you can go and look up her website.
Yeah,
so someone just said, I don't know who your colleague's name is.
Who is that woman? Please do go and have a look at Ignition.rocks. So I made my escape. And my business very quickly became pharmacy training on one side and all things personal development and coaching on the other. Very much about confidence. Lots of my clients would come with issues and they dig a bit deeper, and it was always confidence and self-worth. So that was always going to be my thing.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising really though, because that's been your journey as
well. It really has, And your journey is your journey because it helps you to find your purpose.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know that I had no clue what my purpose was going to be. It took me by surprise. I was networking around about 2008. Been giving the 10-minute talk. A gentleman comes up to me afterwards, says, you've clearly done a lot of personal development. Have you done any? Tony Robbins, been around the world, been there, done that. Yes, absolutely. He said, I've just been to one of his seminars. I had an epiphany. I don't want to be a boring banker anymore. I want to start a youth charity. That's amazing. You go do that.
You'll understand why we're laughing in a short while. Stay tuned.
He said, no, but TeeJay, if I'm going to do that, because I have to talk my wife round to be leaving my banking job, if I do that, really, would you be part of it? And I just look at him well, I could train coaches. I love training coaches. That was what I was doing. I could write programs for you. But work with young people. Are you crazy? Absolutely not. That is not my thing. I've no aspiration to do that at all. I love my own kids, they're mine. Everybody else, sorry about that. You just get on with it because this is not my thing. Well, at that point, the universe must have just howled with laughter.
Absolutely.
And said, so that's what you think, hey? So he leaves his job. We get together to scope out what this charity is going to look like. It's called Inner Flame. It still exists today. Go look up Inner Flame.
Cool.
They're based in Swindon, doing awesome work. Of course, the first thing you do when you're a brand new charity, what do you do first off the bat?
Get some funding?
No, you run a 4-day residential course.
Oh, okay. I clearly have it all wrong.
Of course. So we run our very first pilot 4-day residential course for teenagers, 14 to 19 years old. We have a group of 12 from all sorts of backgrounds with all sorts of challenges, some very, very kind of serious challenges. I write the programme as I said I would. I co-train it with one of the co-founders. The deal was I'll rock up, deliver the training, you send your people that you want to do it later, they can take notes, have my slides, I'll train them how to train it. That's my job. Well, by the end of day one, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I had no clue that I connected with young people in the way that I did. And I was already thinking, oh my gosh, my journey to this point with all my personal development and my adult work. I think this is what it's for. It really works. By the end of the week, 4 days, in it hook, line and sinker, became lead coach and trainer, ran every event ever since, and became chair of trustees up until about 3 years ago.
See, and this is all leading somewhere.
But that was just that was my contribution. That was my volunteer work. I got lots of young people clients as a result of that. People knew I worked with young people. I'm still growing my business side, my business coaching side of the work that I do. Getting a lot of ladies coming to me at this point with various issues, particularly around mental health, which was interesting. I never told anybody I was a pharmacist. At this point, I'm a coach and a trainer. Word got out, somebody leaked it. planet, and all of a sudden I got a stream of people who had been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, OCD, bipolar, all sorts of things. Or left on medication for years. They did not want to do that thing anymore. They want to come off their medication safely, which of course as a pharmacist I could work with them with, but give them the strategies and the skills not to need drugs as a coping mechanism ever again.
Yeah, fantastic. And I just had Keith's just asked, what was the charity's mission? So they're working with young people?
Yeah, igniting the passion in young people for them to discover their true potential, whatever that is for them.
Yeah, fantastic. And thank you, Steve. Stevie Help says, she's fascinating, so interesting. I agree.
Thank you.
So this is the thing, isn't it fantastic when you get to see people who are following their passion? And I think this is the same for a lot of the creative people that I work with, that they want to do that. And I think when you see people who've done what you do, and especially when you get the right kind of help, then it's so much better, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Let's fast forward to Bali.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I share the beginning of this?
Please do.
Because this was very interesting. So we were on this workshop together, and so we were in this room, and there was probably about 12 people. 12 people, I think. Yeah. And we were all focused on what was the purpose of our business. So this particular stage of what we were doing, and it was quite an emotional thing, because you're getting to the heart of who you are and your purpose and your vision and things like that. So and we all had been doing this. And then TeeJay stood up. Now I don't remember the exact words you used, but to paraphrase, she said that she was going to start a business that was going to change the lives of young people, to inspire them, to make them believe in themselves, to grow their sense of self-worth, and to, go after what it was that they wanted in life, and doing it in a way, by using kind of the right kind of tools to be able to be in flow while doing that. And just for those of you who might not have heard the term flow before, this is really when you're doing work where you add value to others, where it's in your natural strengths and suits your personality. You feel really connected to your work. Those times when hours go by and it only feels like 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
That is when you are in flow. Yeah. So the thing is that every single person in that room cried. Every single one of us. We were so moved by TeeJay's mission. So moved.
What's interesting about that, Una, is, and I will never ever forget that day, the question is why you're here, and for me it became, why are you here on this planet? And I was not expecting that. And it was a case of clarifying, why are you here? What's your purpose in your business? And I found my purpose for being on the planet. And I was in that dilemma of is it women, is it young people, blah blah blah. And if you remember, the lady that was running the course, she was just she just pointed at me and went, choose. And I went, young people. Yeah. And then we just looked at each other and went, really? And the more that I should tell the room why it's young people, and then the more that I talked about my 4-year-old self feeling not good enough, blah blah blah, and I went on a little rant, as you remember. I just went into trance because I was just listening to myself, thinking I wonder what I'm going to say. I was just listening in. And
we were all fascinated.
And I just understood in that moment that, you know what, you can talk about the challenges young people have today, and they have many more than me with my one little rubbish belief of not being good enough. And I just was you can talk all you want, it'll never make any difference. So you have a choice right now in this conference room in Bali. Either you shut up or you stand up and be counted. And I was in. Yeah. I was in 1,000%. So I discovered my purpose for being on the planet. And I was adamant that we have millions of young people that need our help, our support, our educating them to be empowered, to know who they really are and the value they bring to this world, because there are too many people with the not good enough lie going on.
And disconnected. I think that's, for me, I feel my purpose is about helping people to connect to themselves and to connect to their emotions and to connect to their work. Because you can connect to other people through your work, and you have to, to have a successful business, you have to grow as a person. Yeah. You know, your business is never going to outgrow who you are. So very much, even though I'm working with the very practical things, it is helping people to grow. And so you're doing the same for young people, where it's about, you know, what they believe about themselves, and connecting to who they are. And I think when they connect to who they are and their natural strengths, then they're able to resist peer pressure.
Absolutely.
Then they don't feel like they have to fit in. They actually can feel confident to stand out.
Yeah.
You
for
know,
the right reasons, because they're adding value and being valued.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I think, it's just so powerful. And let's just have a quick look at what Ignition is. So here's a picture.
Look at that. Look at those little travellers. How cute are they, hey? How cute are they?
So these are the 8 profiles of the Ignition profile tool.
Right.
So I know we don't want to kind of talk too long, but maybe what you could do today is just maybe talk about the Nova and Sensation, etc.
Yeah.
And then if you understand that the 4 fuels that TeeJay is going to talk around, that they are what make up each of the profiles.
Right.
So fire away.
So in a nutshell, ever so quickly, I'll talk really fast. I'm good at talking really fast. It's called Ignition because when you start your journey, you turn the key in the ignition, it lights a spark. And I believe we have a bright spark in each and every one of us. It's just sometimes it got a bit dampened and it needs to be ignited again.
Yes.
And that spark lights the fuel to take you on your journey, and you want to go easily and effortlessly on your journey, i.e. be in flow.
Yeah.
And so with that, you've got to make sure that you've got the right fuel in your vehicle, because if you've got the wrong fuel in your vehicle, well, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I definitely have. Put petrol in your diesel. That's a really bad thing to do.
Oh dear.
What happens? You start, cough, splutter, damage your vehicle, then you have a breakdown.
Yeah.
We have too many people having a breakdown because they're using the wrong fuel for their journey. So once you know the right fuel for you, then you can find your flow, and it's easy and effortless. So it's based on a compass because it's about vision and direction. So you have 4 fuels around the compass there that you see. Nova fuel is about all things new. People with a lot of Nova fuel, high energy, fast paced, spontaneous, impetuous, impatient, have lots of ideas. They're the dreamers and the head in the clouds and the creatives.
Yes.
They're innovators.
Many of my clients.
Yes, indeed. Great at starting things, not so great at finishing things because you've had another 10 ideas and you forgot the first 10. Or the novelty's worn off because we love all things new and it's bored now, on to the next. So often people get made wrong for the very gift that is theirs. They get made wrong for not finishing it, but that's not their gift. Their gift is starting, being visionary and inspiring people to see that vision, get it out there in the world, let somebody else get on with it, you have a new idea and create something new. So Nova Fuel is very much like that. Exuberant Fuel you see over in the east of the compass there, they're the people. They are the extroverts and the people who love to go and be around people all the time. They love to be in a team, lead a team, follow a team as long as they're in a team, and it's the best team usually. So they're a little bit competitive in that regard. They love to talk, love to listen, love to be around people all day. So they're great at networking, marketing, sales, team managers. They're the best people to do that. They love variety. And they get their energy from being around people. So that's what really lights them up. The worst thing you can do for those people is put them in a small room all by themselves and with a computer, a spreadsheet and lots of data.
Yeah, been there. It was hell. Absolute hell.
That's how to torture them. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. But that's why they're the captains, because they bring the right crew together, but they're like the customers on board to entertain them as well. So they're very entertaining. Very sociable.
Indeed.
Down in the south we have sensational fuel, because people with a lot of sensational fuel of course are sensational, but they use their senses to navigate the world. That's how they deal with people. They love to make sure that people are feeling valued, taken care of. They're the natural thoughtful people, so they're great at customer care, customer service, caring industries. They're the people who are really good at planning and timing.
Yes.
Whereas people with their head in the clouds, the opposite there, that's not their forte at all. So
not
sensational, fuel, really grounded. It's like, never mind these head in the clouds people, like running off a million miles an hour. You want me to come on board and like with your new idea? You haven't even proven the concept yet.
Yes.
It's like, give me the evidence. It's like seeing is believing, show me the proof. They have a huge sense of fairness. They'll make sure things are fair, equal, and that everything is done properly with people being taken care of in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, so awesome to have in your team when your creatives, right?
Definitely. Yes, they make sure your plans are
followed through and implemented.
Exactly.
And people are taken care of. And then over in the West, we have the wise fuel. They're like the wise owls, taking in the detail and the data and analysing it, and they are meticulous in making sure that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, the boxes are ticked. They'll bring structure, process, procedures, and analysis, making sure that we're not running off a million miles an hour without taking into account everything that we need to do. So they're the people who, oh my gosh, so blessed in my life. The accountants and the bankers and the financiers and the tech people that bring like amazing stuff to life through the detail of coding and forensic sciences and all those fascinating
and digital
things. Digital marketing, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of that's the interesting thing I think with the creators I work with. So yes, you do get some who are more extroverted, but a lot of them are either balanced with their extrovertism, or they have a lot of wise energy as well. Yeah.
So whereas we have the extroverts over in the East with the exuberant fuel, they get their fuel from people and they make their decisions by asking other people. People with a lot of wise fuel, they don't need to go and ask other people for their opinions. They can make their own minds up. Thanks very much. They go and do their research, right? They'll go and get the data and analyse it. But they're much more the introverts also in terms of when they need to refuel. They usually will go do that by themselves. To go and be with big crowds of people, particularly people they don't know, actually takes a lot of energy from those people.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, not that they have social anxiety disorder.
No.
They just get a bit anxious when they're in big social situations. It's part of who they are. People, that's not their gift. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is interesting. I'll just make that disappear. Hello again, everybody. Yeah, it's interesting because like I'm quite opposite with my fiance, and that's like that. Yeah. So for me to refuel, I need to go out and spend time with people. And it's great because then I leave him alone in the house and he refuels on his own.
While you're gone.
Yeah, while I'm gone. So it works perfectly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the thing is that as well as people getting to know their profile from it, so you can take an online test for that, working with myself or one of the other Ignition consultants, and you know, I thought it was great. You know, we both used other systems, and what I really like about this approach is that you're getting the information you need bit by bit with somebody who can help you to apply it. So I know lots of people who have done loads of different profiling tools, but they haven't actually applied anything or not very much because of it, because they've never actually worked through it with somebody. And so maybe, you know, they are reading a book or they have a big report or something, and then it's like, you kind of look through it, and even if you understand it all, it's like, well, okay, well, how does it apply to me?
What do I do with
is that actually who I am?
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the other things, is that, you know, is when you work this through with somebody who understands the system, then you are able to go, well, actually, I don't know if this sounds like me. And rather than just going, oh, that's a load of rubbish, you actually get to find out, well, is that you? Is it just about a misconception? Because most of the time it is.
Yeah.
And it's about picking through it and understanding, okay, actually this is maybe something you become competent in because you needed to, because of the job you were in or the environment or the people around you. Rather than actually, would you like to do this like 80% of the time? No, then that probably isn't in flow for you.
And it's interesting to unpick learned behaviours.
Yes.
That rubbish belief that you have to be an all-rounder. Work on your weaknesses. Only if there's a purpose. Otherwise, work on your strengths.
Absolutely.
And excel.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
You know what I like? I have a thing like you are not that traveller until you tell me. Oh my gosh, that's so me.
Yes.
If you don't get that, maybe it isn't, and that is why I'm adamant there has to be a conversation when you've taken it with all the check-ins and boarding passes on the travel theme.
I know, it's all, I love the whole metaphor throughout this. I think it just makes it, and it's interesting actually, because when I first started using this, with my adult clients, I don't work with teenagers, so I prefer to work with adults usually. And I was a bit kind of like, oh, okay, so we have these cartoon figures, and the languaging around it was really light-hearted and fun, and they love it. They absolutely love it. So I was like, okay, great. I've been using this with some people who've come from a corporate background, even though they're business owners now.
Yeah.
And actually, they were all like, yeah, this is great.
And I would describe it like, because I designed it for young people. Obviously, my mission is to impact the lives of 10 million young people, and so many people, even in the like early days, were saying, "Oh my gosh, TeeJay, that sounds amazing! It sounds like so much fun." Is it just for young people?
No, you can have the fun too.
Yeah. Just because you're grown up doesn't mean you can't have fun anymore.
Exactly. So, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there is a grown up, part to it as well.
Yeah.
But still playful.
Yeah, I think So if you are a coach or a trainer watching this, then please get in touch with TeeJay. We will pop her website in the comments below. Just before we finish though, I just would like to talk about what difference can this make when, like, for a creative business owner. So say that you're an animator or a photographer or a graphic or web designer. What difference can having your Ignition profile make to you? In you, I'm interested to hear what you say.
Well, I think once you know who you are, when you've got your own business, because I have my own business, so I put myself in that. When you know who you are and what your strengths are and what is flow for you, that's where you add value to your business. And it's that recognition of why. For me, it was like, oh, so that's why I find those other things so hard. I thought there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me at all. I feel that resistance and like put it off and draw slip pins in my arms and do my accounts.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's just not flow for me. So now I have a choice. I either have to take a deep breath, get in, get on with it, get out again.
Yeah.
Or I go find somebody to be in my team who will do that for me, love every minute of it, and therefore do it in a fraction of the time that I could, so that I can go and give value to my business even more. So I think from that point of view, it's like it is totally invaluable. And I think because it is a personal development program, the profiling bit is just the start of the conversation and the insight.
Yes.
Then as you know, then when you've done that and you engage in the program, you get your passport, which is a series of coaching modules that we take people of all ages through, that really build insight into who you are and why you do what you do and how you tick and how you communicate and how you should lead, how you should learn, and how you should, like, what drives you unconsciously.
Absolutely.
That you go, now I understand what's going on. I can get over the beliefs that I didn't even know that I got, that come up in all sorts of modules, baggage versus luggage.
Yes, exactly.
Being one
luggage
of them.
Is good. Let's ditch the baggage.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So a series of working through self-discovery to apply that to your business and your clients and your team, and to culminate that in an amazing goal-setting process with a difference that incorporates your personal life as well as your business life, because we are a whole person, right? So
absolutely. I've always, years ago I used to say business is personal. And it is, like, you bring yourself to your business. Even if you're an employee, you bring yourself to your job. And I think sometimes people think, oh, I have to be professional, and they leave their personality at the door. You can't do that, and you don't want to do that. So, like in the programs I'm doing with my clients, we're using this tool and the principles behind it to help people to identify, well, what are the best lead generation strategies for you to do? Should you be networking? No, maybe you'd rather stick pins in your eyes, or maybe that's what you would love to do. And this is the thing. So it's about your lead generation tools. It's about the way you structure your business, the way you structure your time, as you grow your business, who are you going to delegate to? What are you going to delegate out to? You know, who are the best people to bring in as you grow your team? And whether you're doing that virtually, and I think it's really easy so say you have a graphic designer and they go, okay, well, I'm going to have a web developer that I outsource to, and a photographer and a copywriter. And that's fine because they're doing client delivery work. But what I'm talking about is the people who are going to help you to run your business. And if you recruit somebody because you go, oh, I get on really well with them, they really get me and we're alike.
Disaster.
That is a disaster. Yeah. And, you know, and I think also when you have partnerships, you know, that then sometimes if people are alike, they can clash. And so it's understanding all those dynamics.
Yeah.
Just even within yourself and your work and your clients can really help you to understand, oh, right, if I take this and, you know, that can help me to position myself and you know where to stand in the marketplace and that. So great. I'm just looking at. Oh, fantastic. So this is Keith Shane. Keith, I know Keith. We used to be in the same acting class. So thank you, Una. TeeJay. I can engage with this and raise my game. Also recently set up my own production company. Scary. Fantastic. Keith. That is brilliant.
Congratulations.
That's great. Yeah, congratulations. I'm excited to see what you do with that. And I think, you know, in today's world, there is so much opportunity for people to create their own work. To be able to, you know, attract and convert their ideal clients, or to go out there with a product if that's what they prefer. Yeah, it's just, there's so many opportunities, and in a way, actually, that can be debilitating. So really understanding who you are means that you just take away so much choice, and you're left with, okay, so actually these are the ones for me. Yeah, I'm going to go here.
It's vision and direction, right?
Yeah,
that's why it's a compass, because it can narrow you down into like what is completely right for who you are.
Exactly. Yeah, fantastic. All right, so look, here's what we're going to do. If you've had value from today's session, I want you to share this out and make sure you click the heart button before you go as well. But before you do that, even, I'm going to pop TeeJay's website into the comments. Go and follow her, and you know, if you are a coach or trainer or somebody who's working with youth, maybe in a voluntary capacity, connect, and maybe you can bring some of those organizations together with Ignition, because like you're working with the YMCA, aren't you?
Yes.
And some other organizations where she's getting to affect a lot of young people, and I just think that's amazing. And if you are a creative business owner, I'm going to pop a link to have a call with me. Okay, so I'm offering a free 20-minute consultation, and you might want to talk about this or talk about your goals and what's the fastest way, you know, for you to achieve them. And I guarantee you're going to go away with at least one insight, strategy or tip to help you improve your business. And Keith, you might like to take advantage of that as well, so that you can make sure that you're heading off in the right direction with your new business. So look, let me just check, make sure there's, is there any other questions? If you have any questions as well, by the way, do please add them, and either myself or TeeJay will come back and answer them for you.
Pleasure.
So it's not something I can answer. I'll tag TeeJay and make sure that she's able to do this. And I think we have covered, I think we've covered everything. So TeeJay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it absolutely has been lovely. And it's been really nice to have it side by side. I know. It's almost like we're in our own TV studio. You know, the ads are going to come on any minute. You can go and get your cup of tea.
I've got my cup of tea. My Pooh Bear mug.
So Pooh Bear is awesome.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, look, have a fantastic week. Stick around for a few minutes. We'll pop those links in the comments for you. And I will see you here. In fact, this time next week, I'm going to be interviewing Taylor Jacobson, who is the founder of Focusmate.com, which is a tool I use all the time. It is amazing for if you want to get more focus. So tune in then, and also look out for, I have a whole series of live videos coming up, all about the steps you need to take and the mindsets you need to take depending on where you are in your business right now. Because obviously if you are here, you've got certain steps. If you're over here, you've got other steps. So we will be talking about that. So thank you very much for the comments and hearts and likes, everybody. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.
Bye.